Today, we're diving deep into Apple's latest software update, iOS 18. This update brings a lot of new features, but it's also one of the most unusual rollouts we've seen from Apple. Some of the biggest changes, they're not even here yet. We're going to break down what's included, what's missing, and what to expect in the future. Let's start with the basics. iOS 18 is huge. In fact, it's one of the biggest iOS updates in Apple's history. Not because of the number of features it has at launch, but because of the foundation it's laying for future updates, especially with artificial intelligence. Apple is clearly setting the stage for something big, but we'll have to wait for many of these features as they'll be rolling out in stages. A lot of what we're most excited about won't be arriving until iOS 18.1 or even later in 2025. One of the biggest highlights in iOS 18 is customization. Apple's been adding more customization features over the past few updates, and iOS 18 takes it even further. In the past, we've gotten dark mode, widgets, and custom notifications. iOS 16 brought a customizable lock screen, and iOS 17 added contact poster personalization. You're no longer bound by the rigid grid system. Now you can move app icons anywhere you want and even leave blank spaces. It feels a little clunky, but it's a step in the right direction. You can also tint your app icons any color you like, but beware. This could easily make your home screen look gaudy and hard to navigate. Customizing the control center is another new feature. Previously, this was off limits, but now you can tweak it to your heart's content. It's useful, but there's a catch. By default, iOS 18 splits the shortcut toggles and the music controls, which can feel less efficient. Thankfully, you can reverse the changes if you prefer the classic look. And as a bonus, you can now change or remove the lock screen shortcuts like the flashlight and camera. Overall, these customization options feel strange at first. After all, this is iOS we're talking about, but they're definitely a welcome change, even if they take some getting used to. Now, let's talk about what's missing. Apple Intelligence, the big AI upgrade we've all been waiting for, is not part of iOS 18, at least not yet. The first batch of AI features will arrive with iOS 18.1, likely in October 2024, and more significant changes, like a completely revamped Siri, won't show up until early 2025. So what exactly is Apple Intelligence? Well, when it arrives, it's going to bring some major AI-powered features to your iPhone. One of the first tools coming in iOS 18.1 is writing tools, which will allow you to summarize, enhance, and even rewrite your text. There's also Genmoji, an AI-powered image creation app, and Image Playground, both of which will make creating images and media easier and more intuitive. And yes, these tools already exist in some third-party apps, but the real magic here is that they'll be integrated directly into iOS, so no need to rely on third-party solutions anymore. The most exciting part of Apple Intelligence is the new Siri, which is set to launch in 2025. Siri will get a complete overhaul, becoming smarter, more capable, and able to execute commands across your apps. In iOS 18.1, we'll also see a new Type to Siri feature, which lets you interact with Siri by typing rather than speaking. Mail Summary is another AI feature arriving soon. It will summarize your emails and pull out the important details so you don't have to sift through endless messages. If you get a lot of emails, this will be a real time saver. There's also a new call recording and summary feature coming, which will let you record calls and get a transcript and summary automatically in the Notes app. These features are great, but they highlight a broader trend in iOS 18. It's all about what's coming later. Apple has packed a lot of promise into this update, but we'll have to wait a few months or even longer for the really game-changing features to make communication a lot more fun and versatile. The Passwords app has also been revamped. It's much better than the old keychain system, though it's not enough to make me ditch my third-party password manager just yet. But who knows? If Apple keeps adding features, it might just become the go-to option for password management. That's it for today. What are your thoughts on iOS 18? Let me know in the comments section. As always, see you in the next video. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will succeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max and take on the mantle as the best and most advanced iPhone out there. Although there's plenty of time until September and a lot can change, we seem to know a lot about the upcoming top iPhone model based on rumors and leaks. How is the iPhone 16 Pro Max shaping up against its predecessor? What's changing and what's staying the same? Let's see how the iPhone 16 Pro Max shapes up against the current best iPhone Apple has in its roster. First up, let's talk about design and size. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will inherit the same design language as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, employing the same titanium frame with a completely flat screen. The major difference between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max will be size. The upcoming iPhone screen will grow to 6.9 inches across, a significant bump over the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch display. To achieve this, they're likely shrinking the bezels down even further and making the phone itself slightly larger overall. As per the rumors, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will measure 163mm in height and 77.58mm in width versus 159.9mm and 76.7mm for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, respectively. A small but notable change, all things considered. The iPhone 15 Pro Max debuted with an action button instead of a mute switch and a USB Type-C port at the bottom, so those two features will be carrying over to the newer model as well. However, the iPhone 16 series will be scoring another button, dubbed the Capture button. Colors-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was available in 4 understated and titanium-inspired colors. We've heard that Apple might use another titanium processing technique that will make the iPhone 16 Pro Max glossier and also more capable of retaining colors. Moving on to display differences. As mentioned, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come along with a significantly larger display, measuring at 6.9 inches across. Aside from the size, when you don't clearly expect any other major changes, we're certainly getting a liquid Retina XDR display with an OLED panel delivering superb colors, contrast, and exceptional maximum brightness. The screen will support 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, making scrolling through the interface and on-screen content way smoother. Now let's delve into performance and software. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will feature a second-generation 3nm chip, possibly dubbed Apple A18 Pro. As one can imagine, we expect that the Apple A18 Pro will have better performance than the Apple A17 Pro. Due to the heavily rumored focus on AI for both iOS and the iPhone 16 range, we expect that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come with a much improved neural engine to take care of all the generative AI features. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will also be a first to debut iOS 18 with a focus on artificial intelligence features. The new iPhone 16 Pro Max will also support faster Wi-Fi 7 and a more power-efficient 5G modem, keeping you future-proofed on the connectivity front. Let's talk about the camera. As the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers a host of important camera features, chief among which is the new 120mm telephoto lens, the iPhone 16 Pro Max could finally address one of the forgotten cameras that hasn't recently scored any significant overhauls, the ultra-wide. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple will be introducing a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. When it comes to audio quality, iPhone Pro Max devices are always up there with the best, setting the benchmarks for all other manufacturers to measure up against. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will be no exception. The same generally applies to haptics too. iPhones are arguably the best devices when it comes to haptic feedback, giving us precise and accurate vibrations that are sufficiently strong yet not overpowering. Lastly, battery life and charging. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will reportedly feature a much larger 4,676 mAh battery compared to the 4,422 mAh battery in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Charging-wise, we haven't heard anything about a potential charging speed increase, but we hope to see one on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So far, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shaping up to be a logical improvement to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, delivering key upgrades in important areas like screen size, performance, AI, and battery life. Thus far, we haven't heard anything particular about a potential price increase, so it's safe to assume that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will start at $1,199 for the 256GB version. Of course, if there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max in your pocket, then you'll probably have few reasons to upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Stay tuned for more updates on the iPhone 16 Pro Max as we get closer to its release date. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest tech news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Until next time.